Welcome to the Gender Rebels, a question and answer podcast that explores life outside the gender binary.
I'm Kath, a cis woman and ally.
And I'm Faith, a trans woman.
Special thank you to all our Patreon supporters. Hey everyone, I'm Kath.
And I am Faith.
Hey Faith, I got a question.
Yes.
Do we have any patrons to thank?
Oh, yes, we do. We got some awesome patrons.
Yay!
Michelle W.
Michelle W., I am all right with you.
Marceline.
Marceline is sweet and clean.
Jessica S.
Jessica S. has the prettiest dress.
Stephanie W.
Stephanie W., nothing rhymes with W.
No, that's fine.
Nothing rhymes with W.
W. What's the trouble with you? I don't know.
Join me
weak.
in the drive-thru.
Yeah, there you go. So you
Thank
didn't try hard enough. Jeff H.
Jeff H. has a scratchy sketch.
Sketch?
Yeah, he's got a scratchy sketch. Look it up.
And that's it. That's all our patrons.
I
Thank you.
love our patrons. Our new ones, our existing ones. And you know who else I love? Our future ones.
In the year of 2000. Yes.
25. Hey, Faith, I got a question.
Yes.
Okay, so I had a day off work this week, which is the weirdest thing because I haven't had one of those since January. And I got a text from you. And it said, the surgery is off.
No, it didn't. I can actually pull up this text.
Excellent. I like primary sources.
Yeah.
Whenever
primary
possible.
Sources. Okay. I texted you at 12:48 p.m. as I was going to meet you here in Brooklyn for lunch, out in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I said, so I'm now at about an 80 to 85% chance of canceling or postponing my surgery.
So
That's surgery being GRS, GCS, SRS, having a vagina installed.
let's give a tiny bit of background for any of our listeners who might be listening out of order or anything. What you're saying that refers to your...
When I say an 80 to 85% chance of canceling or postponing my surgery, my gender confirmation surgery.
What's a little bit of the story behind it? When was it originally set? What was the plan?
So it was originally set
caused?
for May 14th. That was my date. I had that date for a year and a half. And I think I had made my initial consultation appointment a year before that.
Okay.
So it's been a while.
It's been in the works since 2018, give or take.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as I got to a month before that, it was April 15th. We were still in the darkest point of COVID. And I elected to move it to early July.
And your thinking at the time was, everything's uncertain. Hospitals aren't really great places to be. If I have the option to bump it back, I'll take the option.
Also, I didn't know if they were going to be doing them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was expecting my surgery because elective surgery was actually canceled in New York City. And I had never been given a new date. And
So we weren't sure.
It seemed like they were giving out new dates about a month in advance. So when it got to the point of my month, I was like, what's going on? And they're like, we don't know, but it'll probably still happen. And they were like, oh, you can either chance it May 14th or we can give you a new date in July. And I thought, well, let's just do July because things will be calmed down by then. Hopefully COVID will be, the curve will be flattened, which we did flatten the curve,
Yay.
at least here in New York City. Through a lot of good social distancing and stuff. And so, all right, fine. So as this is coming up in a couple weeks, I got a text from my doctor on some other, just some reminders on things. And it included, the note that there's no visitors allowed. No visitors whatsoever. And I thought, oh my God, there's no way I can do this without Kath being there with me.
So to give you some background, long-term listeners know this already, but just in case you're just tuning in now, the setup, it was actually very, very supportive, very healing-centered, focused setup where this is pretty major surgery. sorry about the helicopters. If this is in the future, you may remember when all the Black Lives Matter protests were happening. But if you're in the future, you're also enjoying a time without racism, and I envy you that. Okay, I think it's gone. So the idea was, and they bragged about this in the tutorial session that we went to, was that we are about supporting the patient and supporting the family who is supporting the patient. And there was a way that you could sleep overnight in the room. There was a fold-out couch or whatever it was. And they talked about the rooms and how nice and new they were in this new building and how it was just great, a great healing space and a great situation and supportive for the patient in this very weird, very difficult time. So we were comforted. I was comforted, I should say, by that idea, which, like, this is a weird and difficult situation. Faith is not particularly fond of complicated medical situations.
I'm also not. And for me, the hardest part is waiting for surgery that morning when you go in. And you're wearing your paper clothes and you just kind of... You're prepped, and you're just sitting there waiting around for an OR for an hour or two.
That's when your brain spins into horrible places.
And I have anxiety, so...
It spins even faster.
Yes. So that's going to be the hardest part. That is going to be super hard. They said I could FaceTime Kath during that. They said, obviously we can do FaceTime visits and stuff.
That's it. We've been together. We've been together for the other major surgeries. We held out and I tried to distract you. And it's still like weird and awkward and you're like curtained off in a massive room and wearing paper. Like there isn't anything comfortable or normal about it, but that's just how it is and that's okay. And I always saw my job as just sort of helping you keep it together.
Wonderful at it. Incredibly wonderful.
Until the drugs kick in.
Yeah. Well, they gave me... maybe I'll ask at the start if
Extra
I can have
drugs.
a Valium.
Yes.
In fact, I might even email them now and just say, or, later, and just say, since my partner's not going to be there and she's a huge help, maybe give me some Valium, which always helps kind of calm me down or put me in a decent mood.
Myself, the human Valium.
Yeah, you are the human Valium.
Thanks, baby girl.
So that's going to be...
Faith is saying is I can't be there that day. I can't be sitting in Faith's room waiting for you to get rolled up out of post-surgery.
Yeah.
I can't hang out that week. I can't be there.
No.
Because of coronavirus, which I totally understand and I totally support in sort of an intellectual way. You did tell me there are some people who have exceptions.
There are 2 exceptions, and this is NYU policy. And again, in their email, they were like, and, this may change in the next 3 weeks or whatever. Kids in the hospital can have a parent there.
Totally understandable.
Or parent, guardian, whatever. And then people who are giving birth can have a partner there with
parents.
them.
Okay.
So
both of those are pretty major, heavy emotion. In the case of kids, they haven't even really developed the maturity. I totally get that.
I mean, I understand why having a parent there for a kid, absolutely. Intellectually, I'm able to cope a lot better than a kid who's going to be freaked out.
Exactly. So I understand both of those exceptions. And while I wish it were possible for me to be there from the start, from the finish, with you all the way, because it is so weird and medical and and you're like out of it some of the time.
Kath kind of talked me down a little bit and
because your initial plan was no.
But there's so much paperwork. I finally, 3 weeks before surgery, I got all my ducks in a row. And that means 4 different insurance companies are involved with this. 4. I'm not kidding. Because it's like umbrellas within umbrellas or whatever. And it's... So there's all this paperwork.
Sub-companies.
My HR person who I was working with kind of dropped the ball and didn't give me when I reached out to them months and months, a year ago, and I reached out to them, they didn't tell me that there were other forms. I filled out all the forms they gave me. They didn't tell me there were other ones. So all of that, and I'm off my estradiol. And that's been a little weird. And
that's part of surgery.
Not drinking, which is also
part of surgery
been a
prep.
nice coping thing during this whole weird time. But it's just there's so many pieces in motion that changing it now just seems so weird. Like, so much work, so hard, and that I'm just like, you know what? We got everything set up. Let's just do it. Let's just do this. And it's going to be sucky, and it's going to be awful. It's going to be extra sucky. You know why? Because there's a wound vac involved.
Oy!
A wound vacuum. Yeah.
Oh!
That'll be extra sucky. There'll be many tubes coming out of me. It's going to be weird, and it's going to suck, and I'll FaceTime you, and we talked about, like, you know, I'll have my phone up on a FaceTime or something, and while we can watch something or whatever and talk, and it's gonna suck. It's gonna really, really suck, and that's pretty much it. It's just gonna suck, but we get through it, and
this is the thing, we talked about this because, like we were saying with the text, Faith's first instinct upon hearing that there are no visitors was that it's not going to happen. We're going to move it, which is totally possible. It's a hassle, like everything with transition, but it's possible.
Well, the nice thing is my move from May 14th to the July date was within a 3-month time frame. So a lot of the insurance coverages stayed the same, and a lot of the other medical clearances stayed the same. If I went outside that 3-month window, I'd have to go get another cardio clearance. I'd have to go get more blood work done. I'd have to, who even knows?
And while none of these are impossible, and Lord knows of all people, you know exactly what you would have to do. It's such a fucking hassle. So this is what our conversation was about then, is like the benefit of having me there, where, we discussed, to be honest, maybe you'd be cognizant and aware of my presence 75% of the time.
When I had my FFS, of basically the time you were there, the first night, I remember very little. Mm-hmm. And I forget when you left, but you left at some point to walk the dogs, and I vaguely remember you mentioning you being there and mentioning something about walking the dogs. And then I was kind of out of it. And honestly, I was probably talking.
You were.
For like this entire time, but I don't have memories of this. So
I thought you were understanding the whole time. We had a whole conversation.
Well, it was in short-term memory. It just didn't get put into the...
It didn't get encoded.
Yeah. It didn't get into long-term. So I literally have I remember... Yeah, my memory from after that is very, very spotty. So I assume my memory of that first night is going to be pretty spotty as well. But we'll see.
Hey, listeners, let's all agree that I was there her first night after GRS.
No, I do remember telling you to go home.
Yes.
Because I was just going to be boring the whole time.
What I'm saying is you're not going to remember that first night anyway. Yeah. So everyone on the planet is going to conspire to tell you that I was there. Of course I was there.
Yeah, just do some Total Recall false memories.
I am your partner. How could you not remember that I was right there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're coming down to the 0 hour. It's a little crazy that this has been a 2.5 year process to get here. Mm-hmm. And
what are we, 3 weeks out?
3 weeks out, about a little less than 3 weeks.
Boy, oh
so
boy.
It's coming. Tomorrow is my last electrolysis of my junk. Which I actually should be fine. This is just current. My current junk.
There's no law that says you can't go back and get more.
That's true.
Right?
Although I will be going back and getting more on my face, because your hair goes through cycles, and I swear, like my face hair is like coming back in a way that's like really not making me happy. Mm-hmm. So I definitely want more electro on my face, but yeah, tomorrow's my last genital thing. It got canceled for a while. I was actually okay. I gotten like the okay from the electrolysis. Mm-hmm. prior to COVID.
And this is her whole jam. Like, she knows what she's talking about.
So, and again, I asked Dr. Blue Bond Langner, I was like, what happens if I show up and I haven't gotten all the hair removed yet? And she was like, it's fine.
We'll do it anyway.
Just gets ripped out during the procedure. So I had a plan in place to get that last touch up. Because the idea is like you're done, but then you wait a month and then you go back, and because hair can be like that. And then she just touches up, and she said maybe 20 minutes. So I might be like, 20 minutes? Do me another 20 on my face. Let's just do it while we're here. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
You actually have to like grow out your facial hair. It's a pain in the ass. I hate facial electrolysis, but I'm going to have to be there after this. We'll get through this. That'll be 2021's problem.
And of all times, quarantine when you got a damn mask on your face.
I am actually, that's actually been so nice. But no, I'm a little like wonky about the hospital because I'm like, I want to be able to shave my face.
Yeah.
I can go probably 3 days before it gets noticeable, but I still would love to be able to do that. And I think I have to like sneak in a razor and shaving cream and like shave with my phone.
Y'all, that was my plan. I have a list on my phone of stuff to sneak in, and it includes a razor for her face and mixed berry scented shaving cream because that's her favorite.
Yeah, I'll get a little travel one.
Or so maybe they'll have it there.
I don't know. Maybe I should ask, but I guess it's probably not important medically, and I think they're probably more focused on that.
I don't know. This is NYU, and they work with a lot of girls like you. I imagine they'll have this.
Like I
guess we'll find out.
And I can even say this. I'm like, I will feel much better if I can like be shaved, and even if I could have makeup.
Yes.
I will feel better that way. But I don't know that they're gonna let me do that. Probably not. And in fact, it's a lot to pack, and it's very complicated, and it's probably not important, but so I won't be posting any Instagram selfies from the hospital. Sorry, guys. Maybe some heavy filters on the little video, where you're turned into a cartoon mouse.
Yes,
and that's it. I did get a lot of the stuff because you won't be there. I had to get a bag.
Yes.
Because my backpack is ginormous, so I had to get a smaller backpack.
With a lock.
I got a luggage lock. So, with a combination, I have to remember what the combination is. I'll probably do something easy. 1, 2, 3. No,
okay,
not that.
Don't tell the world.
I'm not.
Obviously,
it
won't be, but like...
Yeah. No,
Stop.
Yes, obviously, it's not going to be that, Kath. No, I had to get that because you were not going to be there to watch my stuff, and I am going to have my phone and stuff, and I don't think anyone's going to steal it, but you never know, so might as well have it locked up.
I'm still half hoping that they'll come around on that policy in the next 3 weeks. I'm sure they won't. I'm pretty sure they won't.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they won't either, and I don't want to get my hopes up.
That just means I'm going to be across the street in a coffee shop all day, like sending you good vibes, which isn't a real thing, and waiting for the surgeon to call.
Yeah. So we'll see.
We'll see.
It's going to be hard. How do you feel about it, though?
Oh, well, so, I mean, when I first got that text from you about how there was going to be a delay or you were going to cancel or something, I was very disheartened because I knew how much work went into this and how... I'm not sure what the word is I'm looking for, but how wonderful it'll be when this is done. It's going to be a nightmare to get through, and it's going to be awesome when it's done.
Yeah.
So that means it's one of those things where you want to get it done as soon as possible, like school or piercing your ears.
Yeah.
So when there was a possibility of it being in 3 months or 6 months or a year, I felt awful for you. Yeah. I was heartbroken because I knew how much work you went through just to get to this date plus COVID to that date. Like, it's such a fucking hassle. It's so much paperwork. Listeners, for our cis listeners, I see what she goes through, and I can only compare it to like your worst year of taxes plus moving and changing all of that paperwork plus getting hired at a new job and getting a new cell phone. It's just like the paperwork, the opportunities for errors, the high stakes of any of these errors, and just how exhausting it can be. It's so much harder than it needs to be, but that's how it is right now, and you did it. You're done. You're there, basically. Yeah. And for them to move the finish line it made me very sad, because if I were you, I would have been very mad. So
I was.
There's more. I know it's a complicated emotion.
Frustrated, because I moved it from May to here because, I thought...
You're ready move for COVID.
Yeah. And so moving it for COVID again would be like a little bizarre.
It would suck, but it is a worldwide pandemic, and like literally everything gets bumped and bumped and bumped, and I get it. See, that's the hard thing. It's hard to figure out what's an appropriate reaction to these very new and different and exciting situations that we find ourselves in. So when I received that message, my knee-jerk reaction was stick with it.
Yeah.
Keep with it. Go with that original date, whether I'm there or not. And we discussed it, and I didn't want that to be like all or nothing. Of course, you're going to get it done. But we went over, it's such a fucking hassle. You'll be aware of my presence for about half the time. I'll be working
just the first day. I would be aware of it the rest
from
of
the hospital room, and you'll be playing your video games in the hospital room. But that's still like, I kind of looked forward to that. To be honest, I'm really kind of sad that we're not going to be, making nurses laugh and learning about aftercare and getting an impression of what the space is like for us to tell you guys about. You'll have that. You'll be able to tell us. Yeah. But I was looking forward to doing it together, and we won't, and that's okay. Like, of all the things that come out of a pandemic, this is not the worst of it. Stuff changes. Stuff is different now.
Yeah.
It'll be different for a little while, or maybe it'll be different forever. Like, that's okay. That's how it is. And I think we'll be fine. Yeah. But this is just going to make some sucky parts.
This is the whole thing with this
worse.
Surgery, is that it's just going to be hard for a while. And then it's like not going to be hard. Then it's going to be fine. And another thing that's like propelled me is that the other two surgeries that I had just, reduced my dysphoria 1,000 times more than I thought
they
ever would have been.
It worked so good.
And so this one, I'm hoping that it's going to be the same. We'll see. I know it's going to be hell to get through. I know a lot of y'all listeners got choppers.
More helicopters.
Yeah. So it's just going to suck, and then it's going to be okay. And it's just getting through that suck. And I think 2020 is just going to be a year of change.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a weird year. And, we've already had to cancel and move so many things. And I will have not even set foot in my office for 6 months, because I'm probably not going to be back till September. And I left in March. So it's going to be probably over 6 months that I'm going to be working from home or out of the office. So that's weird. It's all just so weird.
And how lucky are we that we didn't get sick?
Yeah.
That as of the time of recording, we haven't lost anyone to this. Like, it feels silly to complain about this, but you know what? We're gonna. And listeners, some of you have gotten sick. Some of you have lost people. Some of you haven't and are dealing with the repercussions like us. This is the new normal. This is our world now. This might be part of our lives forever on some level. And that's how it is.
Yeah.
And we're lucky that this disruption, this change in the rule, this pretty significant revision to the support you imagined you would have, we're lucky.
Yeah.
If that's the worst we have to deal with.
We are. And we're super lucky and super privileged, and it's even amazing that I get to have this surgery, even under hard circumstances. So, yeah, it's crazy. 3 weeks. I'm very nervous. You know, with my 3 bipinist weeks left, you were like, oh, my last beer before the surgery, and you're like, that's the last beer your penis is ever gonna have. And I was like, oh, I gotta go use the porta potty because, you know, it's the last time I can stand up in a porta potty to not have to touch anything that disgusting. And oh gosh, it's so crazy, and I'm terrified. My doctor, when I went and got my endocrinologist, when I went and got all one of several, I had to get blood drawn twice. And so I had like the little Band-Aid with the cotton ball on both elbows one day. Cause it was like, I might as well get them done in one day, right?
Yep,
Why go to both? And then when I got to when I was at the first place, they were like, oh, we could just do that if you had the stuff you need. And I'm like, I don't, so just draw blood.
I wish I had.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
So my endo was like, you ready for this? And I was like, as I'll ever be.
Yeah, I don't know what answer you're looking for.
And, you know, and I think my response is, can you ever be ready for anything that involves a wound vac? I don't know that you can. And I'm a restless person. I don't, you know, I like to get up and move around. I have friends who we just like lying out on the beach for 4 hours. I'm like, I can't do that. Gotta get up and walk around and explore. And so it's going to be hard. And I can play Civ for as much of that time as possible. I'm going to rewatch, my original plan for recovery was to watch The American Office, but we already made it through that during COVID.
We just
quarantine.
finished it.
I'll probably rewatch Netflix's Maniac, which I liked a lot, and I don't know what else I'll watch TV show wise, but I'll find something to binge watch, and we'll see. I'm just gonna get through it. I'm just gonna, I'll be in bed and I'll pretend I'm an astronaut, or that I'm training to be an astronaut, like the people who stay in bed for a year so that they can study them. That's a real thing.
That is a real thing.
You can actually get paid like $30,000 to do it. Look it up yourself. I'm not gonna go to the trouble of telling you how to do it, but NASA will pay you like $30,000 to lay in bed, if they're still doing those studies. So I'm very nervous. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a weird difference, and then it's going to be relearning how to use the new parts, and that's going to be a whole thing. And if you want to talk about any sex stuff, we don't have to.
No, we'll leave that for a whole nother episode. But it's a lot, and
it's a lot.
Now, unfortunately, you'll be on your own for a lot.
I will.
Right at the start. Obviously, you come home after a week.
Yeah, I mean, what's a week? Come on, it'll be over faster than you can say a particularly long word that takes a week to say.
Exactly.
It's not even a week; it's 6 days, and one of those days you're in surgery getting sliced and diced. So,
and we'll be talking,
it's really
and
5 days.
FaceTiming and Zooming, and it'll be fine. It won't be perfect, but it'll be fine.
Yeah, I think so.
It'll kind of suck,
but
it will be fine.
And I'm going to have to go, and this is what I did for my FFS, which was my first surgery. I was very scary, and quite frankly, having to walk into the room yourself and having to, sit down on the bed yourself, which is very small. It's like a table. It's not even a bed. It's
narrow, yeah.
Yeah, it's, and I had to sit there and think, okay, who had this surgery? Who had this surgery? And so that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be like, okay, Jamie Clayton had this. Kim Petras had this.
So many girls have come
so
through
many
this.
People have had this.
Happy and healthy.
And, I'll get through it. And it's going to suck. And it's going to be hard. And people do this by themselves.
That's true.
And, it's not recommended. It's hard. And it's good to have a social support system. But I've known people to go to Thailand by themselves.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. But
After your facial...
that's what they got. That's what they got to work with. And
after your facial surgery, the woman next to us was checking out and gave you her flowers.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so nice. I went to thank her.
You know,
she was doing it on her own.
They actually did have a thing where they were like, we can introduce you to the person who's having the surgery the same time as you. And so maybe I'll have to do that.
I mean, then you'll have a buddy.
Then I'll at least have a buddy. I hope she's cool.
Even if she's not, she's going through this same experience as you. You share a very unique bond.
We do.
It'd be kind of cool to find out who your surgery sister is.
I would definitely want to at least know who they are, and then I'm still me. I'm still an introvert, so I'd probably be like... And that's the other thing. I'm an introvert, so like I will miss you horribly, and I will miss our pets. And I went on a business trip several years ago. And Kath made me little laminated photos.
But like life-size photos.
Yeah, but that were like cut out. That were cut out in the shape of the animal and laminated. And it was one for our dog and one for our cat. And now we have a new dog and we don't have a laminate.
I didn't make you a version of
We didn't have the new dog then.
I thought I made you one for your hospital stay.
Did you?
For your face hospital stay.
Maybe you did. Oh, maybe you made me a little one or something.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I don't have it. I guess I lost it.
Flat versions of our pets.
So we'll have to figure that out. And it's just gonna be weird and hard. And I'm looking forward to having the results. I'm not looking forward to getting through it. But if that's the worst thing that happens to me in 2020, then I'm doing okay.
I'm hoping that most of the time you'll be out of it. The time that you are with it, you wouldn't have wanted to be there in the first place because maybe you're gross and half out of it. And the times that would have been fun for us to be together, oh well, whatever. We don't have that.
Is it weird? I'm kind of looking forward to the food a little bit.
No, I've heard the food is very good.
And here's the thing. I was thinking about this, like why I kind of like dorm food in college. It's just the idea that like you don't have to think about the food. It's just kind of there.
Appears.
And it's different. You don't have to cook. You don't have to think about what you're eating. They just bring you food.
But it's not like a vending machine. It's like a hot meal.
I'd have to
every time.
I have to sneak in some salt and some hot sauce.
And I would have snuck it for you.
You shouldn't sneak in that stuff. You don't want hot sauce.
Barbecue.
But if you've got a wound vac down there and a bunch of tubes coming out, you definitely don't want Ring of Fire in that situation.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So it's best to go with what the hospital recommends.
Yeah.
But
I would have brought you a bite of barbecue.
Oh, from the place by the hospital?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe on the last day we can...
Maybe.
Maybe I'll be able to shuffle over to that place.
I'll get you some takeout.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're going to keep you all updated. We're going to keep you posted.
Yeah. I thought I might record some solos.
Yes.
You know, while I'm in the hospital. And, at least
save me the trouble.
Yeah.
I know a lot of you have been through this. Send us your advice. Anything that I should have ready when she gets home.
I'll do a question and answer, but it'll be like, Pirate Pete! Hey, Faith, it's Pirate Pete. I've got a question for ya.
I'm Flivver the Frog. I have a question for you, too. I'm Irish, apparently.
Well, Irish Frog, the wound vac is still going. Yeah, prepare for that, all right? I'll put on a whole damn play.
I'm Hellcat Maggie. How many pads you go through in one day?
That's Tubby McTubbs.
Obviously.
I actually got some pads. I bought a whole thing of maxi pads. It made me feel very validated.
For real?
I wanted to, because they're my maxi pads.
Yeah,
they are maxi pads. I'm not a menstruating person, but it's still, it's good to have that. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to like take a photo and send it to someone and be like, these are my maxi pads for my vagina. And I didn't know who the hell I was supposed to send that to because it's a little weird.
Our listeners, we get it.
I know, but
our listeners are not the majority of the world.
Yeah, so we'll see.
We'll see.
I still got it. I can still send it to someone.
Huge pack. What is it, 58
it's like
maxi
a 58,
pads?
58,
God
yeah.
Damn. More weeks than there are in the year.
Indeed.
Y'all, thank you so much for listening.
Yeah,
we are going to keep you posted. I'm sure it'll be fine. And maybe they'll even change the rule by the time the day comes.
That's what I'm hoping, but not too much.
I'm not even changing my time off request at work, just in case they change that rule. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, everyone.
And we'll talk to you next time.
All right, everyone.
Bye-bye. If you've enjoyed this episode and want to help us keep making great content, go to patreon.com/genderrebels.
Please leave a 5-star review on iTunes.
And send your questions to questions@genderrebels.com.
Music for the Gender Rebels is by Jasper the Colossal. Link down below or download them on iTunes.
For all our episodes, visit genderrebels.com.
Gender Rebels is a Comeback Sync production. Copyright 2020, all rights reserved.
And to all you gender rebels out there,
keep rebelling!
Hey, Faith, I got a question.
Yes.
Do we have any patrons to thank?
Oh, yes, we do.
No rush. I'll cut this part out.
All right. We got some awesome patrons.
Yay!
Michelle W.,